What's up, everybody? So, if you didn't see the press conference, which I'm sure if you're a real UFC fan, you did, we know that, what's his name? Mike Perry
versus
Donald Cerrone is happening, and they had a little jaw off, and Mike Perry said, hey, man, I love Donald Cerrone because I know he's not afraid to fight. I know he's not afraid to meet me in the middle of the cage and throw down, and I love that he smiles, and I love that he jokes around because then I know he really wants to kill me.
He says, you're not supposed to be friends with Donald Cerrone before a fight because that's how he beats you. And he's like, I want the best out of my opponent every time. So I'm being nice to the guy the whole time leading up to it.
Absolutely.
I mean, everyone hates Mike Perry, but I love the guy. I think his personality is great. I think he's just a funny cat. You know what I mean? He's silly, but he's also a monster when he gets in that octagon.
Well, how can you hate a guy who he's being him? That's the way that he is. And everybody wants to be judgmental and say, oh, you're a douche or blah, blah, blah. But Mike Perry's being Mike Perry. Donald Cerrone has been around the sport for what, 10 years now?
Longer than that.
10 years now.
I've been watching him back in WC.
Yeah, so I mean, you got Donald Cerrone, who's literally a legend. I mean, it's not a matter of if, it's when he's in the Hall of Fame, when he decides to retire. And in my personal opinion, he has a lot of gas left in the tank, you know. But he's had some tough draws. I mean, it's not like Donald Cerrone's past, 4 or 5 fights that he's lost or to nobodies.
No, and that Robbie Lawler fight, I had him winning that fight.
I agree. I did too. And he lost to Darren Till,
Darren
who's getting a title fight
and comes in overweight almost every time.
Yeah.
Like, come on now.
I agree.
The guy's a monster, and Cowboy went up to fight Darren Till, who Darren Till should be fighting at 2 weight classes above what Cowboy should be fighting.
Dude, they
at.
said that Darren Till is a light heavyweighter fighting at
He's
middleweight.
huge.
Yeah.
Even lining up with Woodley, he just outsizes him.
Yeah, I agree. So anyways, our point being made is this fight is going to be a battle between 2 dudes who just like to brawl, who like to fight. And I think we called it before that, a lot of people are always worried about, if a fight has fireworks all over it, it normally doesn't have fireworks. But this is a surefire fight that probably will end in fireworks.
Don't jinx us.
I'm not going to jinx it. But when has Donald Cerrone not brought it?
No, he brings it.
He brings it. And when has Mike Perry not brought it?
He brings it.
So one would think that going into this fight, both of those guys would bring it. Mike Perry already said, according to the press conference, he's going to bring it. And we know Donald Cerrone is about as game as they come.
Yeah. This is going to be a fun fight. Cowboys out there going, yeehaw, bring it on. He loves those fights. He loves when it gets nasty, bring it in the middle. He loves these up-and-comers and giving them a platform to build off of. He's okay with putting his name on the line and being like, let's do it. If you could pass, he's like the gatekeeper for these divisions, for these guys to make a name off. He allows these guys to fight him. So hats off to Donald Cerrone, because when he says anywhere, any place, anytime,
he means it.
He really does mean it.
There's a lot of fighters that say all this, any place, anywhere, anytime. Donald Cerrone is the only guy that's ever done it.
You know what's funny about this? The only other guy that might fight as consistently as Cowboy Cerrone is Mike Perry.
Yeah, I agree.
Mike Perry's been fighting so much. He's so consistent. He's just he wants to get in there. You know what I mean? And fight.
Well,
he loves it.
If you go to break down this fight, if I'm looking at Donald Cerrone, the one thing that Donald Cerrone struggles with is fighters who have a lot of pressure and push forward. Donald Cerrone has been very successful whenever he can press forward and pick his shots. Leg kicks, head kicks, body shots, punches. Mike Perry probably isn't that guy. When Donald Cerrone has lost, it has been against guys who have pressed forward. RDA, Darren Till.
Perry's really good when someone wants to brawl with them, get in there and actually brawl and fight. And Cowboy Cerrone could be led into a brawl. He wants to get in there and fight and show, like, I'm a cowboy. Let's do this. You know what I mean? So Mike Perry could lead him into that brawl and catch him with something. So it's exciting. But if Cowboy Cerrone picks him apart, it's been shown that Mike Perry, he could get picked apart because he's a brawler. He has heavy hands, and if he gets in there close and throws those hooks and connects, he'll take you out.
I think Donald Cerrone is a veteran in the sport. I think he's good enough to keep a guy at distance. I think Mike Perry is kind of a one-trick pony, meaning you never see Mike Perry go for the takedown. He's training
with a higher level camp now, so who knows? Maybe he's going to add some tools to his arsenal.
He might, but I think as Donald Cerrone, knowing that he's a brawler, Donald Cerrone's going to keep him at his distance, use his leg kicks, use his body shots, and I think Donald Cerrone's going to pick him apart only because Donald Cerrone has more tools in his arsenal. And I think Mike Perry's going to find himself on his heels, kind of defending most of the fight as Donald Cerrone picks a shot, and I think Donald Cerrone is going to land a big one and end it.
You know what, Donald Cerrone, he knows how to use his length to his advantage, and he has great high kicks. He's good with his legs. He's good. I think he was a kickboxer before he even got into mixed martial arts. So he's really good at keeping his range and just hitting you in the head with his kicks and shins or whatever. And I think he will catch Mike Perry. I think Mike Perry is going to try and get in there and brawl with him. And I think Donald Cerrone is just going to use his length to his advantage and take out Mike Perry.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. So we got both of us sitting here, two guys who like to watch UFC on the regular, thinking
Mixed martial arts in general.
Yeah. Donald Cerrone is going to come away with it. I think it's going to be a TKO. With these guys, I mean, you would, like I said with the TJ Dillashaw or Garbrandt, these guys are too high level to not have a TKO. I don't see it going to decision.
That being said, Mike Perry could very well knock out,
Absolutely.
Donald Cerrone.
Like we've said before in our fight picks, people tend to, you were wrong. You got a 50-50 shot, At any given time, someone can land that one shot, boom, the lights go out. So Mike Perry's just as capable of Donald Cerrone. Just on this night, we're both picking Donald Cerrone.
Yep.
So let us know what you think, and we'll see after the fight. And have a good night, ladies and gentlemen.
Peace.